Folks, this is what you call a really wobbly chair, and I'm going to show you a quick, easy way to fix it without even having to take it apart. And best of all, no real skills are needed. We're going to be using this product. It's called Tite chairs, and basically it's just a very, very thin super glue, and it's designed to penetrate into chair and furniture joints without having to take everything apart. Good thing, right? Not only will it penetrate your joint, but it's going to migrate into your dowel pin and mortar sockets or whatever to create a really strong bond. By the way, I'm not being compensated in any way to promote this particular product. I just chose this one because I got a good deal on it. There may be others that are just as effective. So will it repair any type of mortise and tenon or peg type joint? Well, the short answer is no. But if you have something like this, a broken tenon, this glue won't work. This will require a lot more work, and I plan to do a video on this in the near future. And it will bond just about anything that a normal super glue would, but if you have a break like this, wood glue and clamps are the way to go. If the tenon pops out like this, but it remains intact, this is what you can do. You can just clamp it all back together, and then you can use the Tite chairs on the assembled joint. You can also try this on many other types of joints. Here I'm bonding a crack in my chair foot. And you might comment and let me know how you were able to use this product. So now let's take a look at how we use the product. The top half of the cap will unscrew and separate, and then you can install the nozzle on the little raised nib. And then you're ready to go. Now, a word of warning, be sure to hold the bottle upright to install the little nozzle. It takes a lot of effort to get it on there, and you have a tendency to squeeze the bottle as you push down. If you turn the bottle on its side horizontally to install that, super glue will probably come out of the spigot and onto your fingers. And I made this mistake, and I ended up with my fingers stuck together. And it took me about an hour to get them apart, so don't do it. And be sure to wear your gloves. Cleanup will be with fingernail polish remover, and if you'll notice the bottle, it's the same thing as 100% acetone, which many folks will already have in their shop. Also, it's probably a good idea to apply a few drops of this in an inconspicuous place on your furniture, just to make sure it doesn't damage the finish. Here I'm applying the glue to a table leg. Before applying the glue, I put down some newspaper to protect my rug, and also put some wax paper under the bottom of the leg. Now this will keep the leg from bonding to your newspaper or your protective barrier. I start at the top of the joint, and I gently, very gently, squeeze the bottle and allow it to flow across the entire joint. I also trace around the sides. I have saturated a rag with the fingernail polish remover to clean up the excess. Of course, the goal is to put just the right amount of glue in the joint, but it's easy to overfill it, have it run out the bottom of the joint and down the leg. If you don't wipe up the excess now, it'll really be tough to get it off later. Here's a close-up view of the chair that we're going to do next. Now we gently let the glue flow into the joint and then uniformly go around the joint. If it doesn't flow easily out of the bottle, you may have to squeeze just a tiny bit, but don't overdo it. And of course, we want to do a good job of cleaning up the excess. The first set of chairs I did several years ago, I simply applied the glue with the chair standing on all four legs. Now those chairs are still good and tight. However, I also tried it at the same time with two chairs that were really loose and wobbly. And after a couple of years, they were rickety again. So I should have put on extra applications of glue. So you may ask, well, why not just lay the chairs down like this? And this will work great if the joint is mortise and tenon. This is a joint like this. There's a peg or tenon machined into the rail, and there's a matching socket or mortise, and it's drilled into the leg. And if the chair is laid on the side like this, the glue will automatically fill the socket and make a super strong bond. Then you can simply turn the chair over to the other side and repeat the process after about 15 minutes or so to let the glue set up. The problem is that my chairs are dowel pin construction. Now this is a dowel pin, it's just a round cylinder of wood. And there's also a socket cut into the leg, but not only in the leg, but there's also one cut in the end of the rail. Now with the chair laying down, the bottom socket will quickly fill up with glue. But you know, liquids can't run uphill. Gravity is simply against you. So while you'll make a good joint on the bottom, the top part of the joint will stay relatively dry. Now you can try turning the chair over on the other side, but it's hard to get it in the joint because most of it runs down the leg. A good solution is to stand the chair up and then simply lean the chair over at a sharp angle and glue the joint. Then wait a few seconds to let the glue set up and migrate into the joint, and then turn it the other direction and repeat the process. This way you're assured of getting glue in both sockets. Now, what if you don't know what kind of construction you have? Obviously, if you haven't taken the chairs apart, you can't see the joints. In that case, my recommendation is that you just go ahead and use this method. That way, if it is dowel pin and it has two sockets, you'll be sure to saturate both joints. Upholstered joints add an extra level of complexity. Now here I've pulled back the cover on the bottom and I've inserted my nozzle in this gap to reach the joint. Now go slowly here because you don't want your upholstery cloth to get saturated with glue. Of course, you're only going to get to one side of the joint here, which may be enough to stabilize your chair. But here I'm carefully removing the upholstery nails. Then I can carefully fold back the cloth and padding and apply the glue to the other side of the joint. Then I carefully reinserted the nails and tapped them in. Well, I've let my chair sit overnight, and I think this is a really good idea. To me, it allows the glue to fully cure and get hard in the joints. And look, I have a pretty tight chair here. So I think we've been a success. But now, if you've got furniture with really, really loose joints, or maybe slipping joints, my recommendation is that after your first application, wait 30 minutes or so, put on another application, and you can even put on a third application the next day if you need to. Also, a couple of tips. Those little nozzles, if those harden up with glue, don't throw them away. You can simply soak those in acetone for a while, and that glue will soften. Or you can simply snip the end of the nozzle off, and most of the time you'll be ready to go. Also, when it comes to the solvent, I have used paint thinner in a pinch. But the problem with paint thinner is you need to use it while the glue is still wet for cleanup. Don't let it tack up because it won't do near as good a job as the acetone in that case. Well, folks, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's been a help to you. And don't forget that if you need to, send me a comment, ask a question, whatever, and I will answer you. Also, be sure to like our video. We would appreciate that. And I've got more tools, DIY, woodworking, more chair videos coming. So be sure to go below also and subscribe to our channel. And that way you won't miss anything. And whatever you do, don't forget to ring that bell. And until next time, thanks for watching.